Hello, friends, colleagues. Adrian, if you're watching from home, hello and welcome back. My presentation today is on how to get the most out of material connection. This is part of a series that the library is hosting on database deep dives. The next one will actually be on November 6th. It'll be on CINAHL, which is a health sciences database. Now, you may have seen that I originally had this advertised for last week. And the reason we had to bump it up a week is because the Friday before I was supposed to do the presentation on this, Material Connection reached out to me and told me that we would be having a new database launching on Monday, which would have been last Monday when I was supposed to give this presentation. So now it's not only about how to get the most out of Material Connection, but it's also an introduction to the new site as well. The presentation itself will be about 20 or 30 minutes, and we'll have a Q&A afterwards if anybody has any questions. Okay, so first off, what is Material Connection? Material Connection is an actual materials library. It's headquartered in New York, but they have branches around the world. They've cataloged roughly 10,000 materials and manage a database of these. That's what we subscribe to. The staff at Material Connection are material scientists who catalog these materials, and they also run an advisory service too. They publish some books about materials and material science, as seen up here. And kind of interesting footnote too, as institutional customers, LTU faculty and students have access to their library. Basically, you can use the form on their website as long as you give them 24-hour notice. You can actually go to the library and see the library in New York or elsewhere. But primarily the database is going to be the focus of today's presentation. So the first thing is how do you access this database? How do we get the Material Connection? I'm gonna get on my PowerPoint here and I'm gonna go over to our homepage. So this is the library homepage. The quickest way to get to Material Connection is to scroll down. There's a databases A through Z list. We're gonna go there. Now you can either scroll down to Material Connection or you could type it in here. What I prefer to do is click on M, brings up all the M databases, and then just go right to Material Connection. Okay. So, so this is actually the landing page here. You see there's a sign in button in the upper right-hand corner. If you've signed in previously, it'll actually welcome you by name. And we'll go through the account creation process and the benefits of having an account a little bit later. But just to show you, this is how you sign in. That's me. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like when you sign in. Not too much different, it just welcomes you by name. But if you were on campus, all you have to do is just click on the link and it directly takes you there. If you are off campus, you're gonna have to sign in through LTU Network, which is this screen we're all familiar with. And if you're still encountering problems when trying to access this database and you're off campus, make sure to turn your VPN off. Okay. Okay. So, a bit of a disclaimer here. So their site is a week old, and there's still some buggy elements on their site. So I'm gonna try to work through those the best possible. For some of this, I might have to refer to my PowerPoint. There's gonna be some assets on the site we're just not gonna be able to access. I've actually contacted Material Connection and let them know about this. I'm also gonna send them a link to this video so that they can know it's out there on the World Wide Web, that some facets of their website doesn't work so well, so they can make sure to fix that. Okay, so when you log in, search bar at the top, pretty standard. There's 5 actions you can do right from this page besides signing in and searching the search bar. The first one is Insights. So this is their advisory service. Our subscription at LTU does not allow for access to this. However, if you were out in the field, you're a material scientist or a developer of some sort, and you need some access to other advisors to help you through I don't know, a fabrication process, you can contact them and they'll get back to you within 24 hours. But for the most part we're going to focus today is on the database tab. Okay, so pretty standard fare. You have your search bar at the top. On the left, there is a button for filters. Now, all this does is this just turns the filters on the left on and off. So you want to leave those on. Below this is the seal of excellence. I have no idea what this means. So if you, like looking at this, 93% of the materials on their website get a seal of excellence. So if you click it, it goes from 7,538 to 6,959. And at some point, I'm hoping I can log into this, because actually they have more stuff there. When you sign in, you have access to more of their materials. Because actually, when I prepared this, there were 9,845 materials. Below the seal of excellence is your filters. Now, these are based on material properties. And so not every material will be described by every property. For example, impact resistance. Not every material that they have in their database has a rating for some kind of an impact resistance. Each category will have further metadata to describe the material based on the criteria, so availability, commercially available large volume, commercially available small volume, et cetera, et cetera. In the categories where there's numerous metadata descriptions, there's also a search function. Let me see if I can find one of these. I think applications. So yeah, you click on applications, and actually you have a search, because there's so many of them. So in this, I'm going to search for upholstery. It brings you back 3 results: automotive upholstery, marine upholstery, and then just general upholstery. In the upper right-hand corner, you have options to change how the visual elements appear on the database. So for example, you can have it in a list view if you'd like. Have larger thumbnails. You can do by jury date, brand name A to Z, prog name A to Z, or reverse order. Jury date is when Material Connection reviewed the material, in case you're wondering what that is. So the section in between the left filters and up here is, this is what they call library categories. And this deserves a little bit of a description here. So let me give you a little more information on library categories. So instead of cataloging these by intended use, their Material Connection catalogs all of the materials in their library by chemical composition. So you have 8 categories. It's carbon-based, cement-based, ceramics, glass, metals, naturals, polymers, and process. And each of them has further information here describing what makes something carbon-based. In this description, materials whose main constituent is carbon in the form of diamond, graphite, buckyballs, nanotubes, or carbon fiber. Now, if you're not a material scientist, and I am not, they do have videos that they offer for each of these descriptions to give a little bit further information on it. This is actually a good time where I should probably talk about. We have a web page where there's a tutorial help for most of our databases that's always growing. The most recent addition is Material Connection. And on the site itself, as you'll see, all 8 videos are here. So you can look up what each of these are. What is a cement, ceramic, glass? Your library categories are here, which you can click and it will pop out. That's printable. And it's kind of interesting too, if you actually go to the actual proper library for Material Connection, they have the same library categories showing the different sections of where everything is housed as well. I would highly advise you to watch these videos. They're like 2 minutes a piece. They're really, really informative, especially if you don't have any background in this field. So next part of the database screen. So hang on for a second. We've gone through the filters. We've gone through the library categories. We've gone through the visualizations. We're going to talk about the search bar. Now, the search bar in Material Connections, it's a little different. I think most of us using college databases are used to going right for the advanced search because we can start plugging in all the things that describe what we're looking for. And on this, there's no advanced search. On their old website, there was. It actually didn't work. But on this, I actually found it easier to go through the filters, but we'll go through and do a search bar search first. So most of what you would use to find materials in the search bar are already accounted for in the filters anyways. It might be a little easier starting off with the search bar, but like with some very, very rare exceptions, there's gonna be something to describe what the search term that you use to look for material in the filters too. Okay. Oh, one other little weird nuance about the search bar too is that when you use it, let's see, so let's have like water. It does give you some options. What it thinks that you might be looking for, and if you click on those, it searches any of those as a term. I don't want to, so I'm just going to go ahead and enter because none of those really match what I'm looking for. And then from here, you can do just like you would in TechCAD or any of our other databases that you may be familiar with. Go through, find your filters. So let's say a water product that's in development and is renewable content. And gives us our two results. Now, the difference between like this and TechCAD or something like EBSCO, where it saves the filters for your next search, it doesn't. So in Material Connection, when you go and search the search bar on top, it always resets your filters every time. And that's just something you might want to be aware of when you're using that. So I'm going to do a new search. Brown. I picked brown because brown is, it's within the name of several products. It's within the product summary of several products, but there's nothing over in the filters to limit for brown. So here you go. I typed in brown, and these are the results I got. So let's see here. So that's clearly not brown. Let's take a look at that. You click on the item, and it gives you sort of a truncated record of what you're searching for. So it has the name, the manufacturer, the category, it's naturals. That's the library category we talked about. The MC number is a unique number for each material. For librarians, you can equate this to like the OCLC number. Everything has its own unique number. And then a very truncated description of what the material is. I don't find the screen incredibly useful other than maybe sort of like an appetizer to want to learn more about these materials. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Learn More. And this will take you to the main record for this. So if you look, my search was for the word brown. Brown does appear in here. It's the laser removes a top fibrous layer of this velvet-like fabric, slowly burning the surface and leaving a uniform light brown channel. So it kind of describes the grooves in there. So again, using the search function at the top wasn't incredibly useful. That may or may not have been what I was actually looking for when I was searching for this. One other thing too. So I discovered this over the weekend. Sometimes when you're searching for terms in Material Connection, it brings back non-materials. I mentioned before how Material Connection is a publisher, and they have records for their books, and actually like so if I search for architecture, it does bring up a number of materials, but then it brings up one of their books, which I think actually is right here. And you can click on it and learn more about the book, but it's just not incredibly useful to capture that in that search. One thing I've actually recommended to the database provider is to have a filter way to filter that out, so you can just search for just materials. I think that would be a good improvement. And then, oh yeah. So MCX. books. And if you do actually go looking for their books too, they actually do publish more than 3 books, even though that didn't show up. Books. Yeah, so, yeah, if you search for their books actually by the MC number, it only lists 3 of them, and then their membership too. So they actually do publish more than 3 books. And the LibGuide that I showed you before, the how-to guide for the Material Connection, there's a link to all of the books that Material Connection have published within TechCAD as well. Okay. So now we're going to do a search just using the filters. I actually find this to be a little bit more constructive. If I can get back there. Okay. Database. So why is this more direct? Well, when thinking about what you're actually going to manufacture, there's going to be a lot of questions that come up, like what are you going to be building? Like, what is this material going to be used for? What properties is that material that is important to the construction of whatever you're making? So like, let's say we're fabricating panels for an automobile. What would we look for? Well, one of the things is we might want to have it we can choose whatever color we want for the panel. We might value fire resistance. Those are 2 things we can look for when we're making these choices for the materials. So in this case, because we're making panels for cars, I'm going to first go to Applications, and I'm going to search for Automotive, AUTO, Automotive Interiors. So we're going to go ahead and select that. It just brought down the number of results that are left. We also said that we were interested in them being fire resistant. So let's scroll down to that. We're going to say we want high fire resistance. We want to make sure that it's not going to burn. And then we wanted to be able to choose whatever color we wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Customization, and then you can click on Color. Now, it brings up 4 results here. Actually, if we were logged in again, we'd bring in a few more, because this would be the point I would usually limit it to just polymers. And the reason I would, because glass may not be a suitable material. There's only 2 choices, glass and polymers. Glass may not be a suitable material for constructing panels for car doors. And so I look here, and what do we get? So we get two pigments, and that's not going to be suitable to actually manufacture anything. So all that's left is this nanosonic ink. So this may be what we want to use for this project. And let's see here. Oh, and yeah, also, so the back button doesn't work on this either. This is another problem with the website. So let's start over here. I'm going to try to sign in one more time, too, to see if this works. Nope. Okay. When you get your results, you're going to want to look a little bit further into them. And we looked at this before. This is the truncated screen. And then when you get to the actual record, this is what an actual record looks like. So you have your description. You have your library categories here, polymers and recycled resins. I guess it would just be polymers. It's not a category. Your general information, and these are going to start looking familiar because these are the information that's in the filter. So there's your seal of excellence. There's your properties. So these would all be things, metadata that would be in the filters that you do to limit the results to get the one that you wanted. processing and applications. This would be more metadata that'd be in the filters. Sustainability, also. Also, sometimes they'll have, the manufacturers will provide documentation to go with these materials as well. So, for example, it could be a product brochure, a material safety data sheet. Those are all located on that screen too. For this one I pulled up, it does not have one. So I'm going to, so like for example, this safety sheet was one of the PDFs that would be in the documentation in the area. And then also at the bottom of the record, where are we? Oh, right here. There is a disclaimer. The disclaimer is the same on every record, just so you know. Now, when going through these databases, you can save different results and put them either into a bookmark, which you can look at later, or boards. And boards are just collections of bookmarks. Again, I'm having some trouble logging into the site right now, so I'm gonna just kind of show you what I have on my PowerPoint here. You can go in and you can click on the check mark, and you can save these either as a bookmark or in a board. You can share export, which this will give you a PDF copy of the record. This open in desk, this is another function that doesn't work yet. So actually, I don't know what this is. Hopefully we'll find out soon. And when you go into the saved area, see if I can find a copy. Oh, yes. So you can see over here, that's what bookmarks look like with the 4 individual bookmarks. And a board is like a collection of bookmarks. And you can come up with themes or projects for that. And those would be groups of products that you might be considering for whatever your project is, and maybe you want to share with other members of your groups. So this is the part where I'm supposed to show you how to log in and create an account. We're gonna have to use our imagination here. So the sign in button is right up here, and that's normally where you see me try to sign in twice now. That's the same area where you would go to create an account for Material Connection. The advantages of creating an account, again, are you can store this information. On some records, because I'm not logged in, I can't do it now. They have a form right in the record where you can contact the manufacturer as well if you have questions. It has a list of contacts as well at the manufacturer for these materials as well too. So if you wanted just to call them and not use the Material Connection form, it would have that data as well. And I think that's about it. Oh, and the last tab, the About tab, there's multiple links on the site that are kind of linked to this. It's like that's the generic website advertisement, so you're not really missing anything there. But that's where you'd go if you wanted to contact them about something, or you wanted to learn a little bit more about their advisory service. So in conclusion, Material Connection's unique, it's versatile, and it's easy to use when it works. And it's ideal for designers, engineers, and architects. And it connects the materials industry with those in need of materials. And again, one of the big advantages is that all of the people who work in Material Connection are also material scientists. They put you within arm's reach of their customers. Do you have any questions about how the site works? It's pretty self-explanatory. All right. Well, again, sorry about the technical difficulties. I was logged in when I had to plug this in earlier. I don't know what happened, but I would say go give it a try yourself. Generally, it's been working a little bit better lately. I'm not sure why it booted me out now, but I'd give it a try yourself. If you have any questions about this, you can always call us. We're 248-204-3000, or you can email us at library@ltu.edu, or there's a form on the website also which you can contact us. If it's after hours, we do offer a 24-hour chat service that can help you out with this as well. And you can also email me, skish@ltu.edu. I would be happy to walk you through this, getting signed up and using it. I thank you for your time today, and I guess we'll see you next week at Sin Hall.